I am joined now by Lorraine Kelly. Hooray! I wish it was Zoo Radio. Round of applause. Yeah, go on.
I'll applaud myself.
Yeah,
I'm applauding you. I'm applauding you.
Yeah, do. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Debut novel. You must be pleased as punch.
Do you know what, there's nothing like it. Well, you know, because
Well,
you're
it
a
is,
writer. And there's just something about when you get the book in your hand, because I know, I did the Audible book as well, the audiobook, and you can do it on Kindle and whatever. But there's something, for me, it's got to be a book in your hand.
Yeah.
That you can just, read anywhere you like. But usually I like in front of a road and fire with tea and biscuits. And my dog.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Joy, just
all
joy.
Of that. That's bliss.
Escape.
But also, they've done you proud. Beautiful cover.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's very much what I wanted, it's exactly, it's got it.
Yeah, because what's nice about this cover is it is the book, in that there's darkness in the book, but actually it's kind of, the book is also very sweet. Tell us about Evie. Tell us about Evie and Orkney.
Evie, lovely Evie. She is in Orkney. That's obviously, it's a place that I love so much, and my book was always going to be set there, and Orkney's almost like a character, I suppose. But Evie has to leave Orkney when she's in her late teens. You find out why. It's traumatic. She comes down to that London and she loses herself. She doesn't think that she deserves happiness or contentment or anything like that, doesn't deserve a good relationship, falls into a really, really horrible relationship with somebody who I just despise and is horrible. No redeeming features. But then she has to come back home because her dad's sick, and she has to come back home and try and rebuild bridges and all of the people that she basically deserted. And we find out why, you understand. And she's got a terrible relationship with her sister. It's very, very toxic. And it's coming back, and I'm always interested in that. Having left Scotland and come to England, and I've always gone back home, but I do remember when I first came south, I didn't know anybody and I was really quite lonely. Not for long, because you make friends, but that sense of being isolated and not, and I used to, back then, I used to talk to people at the bus stop or the underground and they would be frightened of me.
And also, I think back then, where we came from seemed much further away.
Yes.
Because you couldn't get there quickly. You couldn't. And to ring people was expensive. Phone bills were something people worried about.
You're absolutely right, because we didn't have the internet. It was in its infancy, and we didn't really have mobile phones. They were like big bricks. Do you remember? They used to be in the car. Those were the days. I remember those days.
And tell me, this story was this story kind of cooking away in your head, or did they just say, "Do you want to write a novel?" You went, "Oh, I'll think of something."
No, I'd always had lots of different stories buzzing about, but I always thought, for goodness sake, I can't possibly write. It's a full-time job. But I always had this thing, especially because I really love swimming, especially in the cold, and that was always going to be part of it. And that's very much part of the story. It runs all the way through. Evie's fear of water, and will she actually overcome it? And that sense of your friends, even if you don't treat them very well, your real friends will hold you up. Like that. So I did have that story buzzing around, and then bringing in characters who are in a swimming club. It's like characters from all walks of life, all ages as well. So it gives you a chance to sort of get a group of women together, and some men too, obviously, but a group together that maybe you wouldn't get in normal circumstances. They might not know each other, but they're part of this club, so they love it. And also,
I imagine, small communities like Orkney, people end up there for all sorts of reasons.
They do, you're right, and it's a place where a lot of people settle. And one of my characters, Andre, who was going to be a wee tiny character, and I don't know if this happened to you sometimes, he was only going to be little, and then he just grew and grew and grew, and I really like him.
Yeah.
So I wanted, and he was also a way of me maybe weaving in some of Orkney's rich culture and history, because he loves it so much, and he falls in love as well. And isn't it funny how you can really get so attached to something you've made up in your head that I don't want to say cheerio to him. I didn't want to say bye-bye to any of them, really. Even Liv, the dreadful sister, I still think, you understand why she's like that when you read the book. You do.
And I thought a big, bold choice to have a trans woman kind of so central in the book. What was your thinking there?
My thinking there was just that we're all the same, Graham. We really are. And also, you only find out about Freya. You get to know her first as Freya, because that's who she is. You get to know her as a woman, a wise woman in her late 70s, who's very much at the heart of the community. And it's only later on when you go back into
Was that a spoiler?
The past. No, not at all. Not at all. No. It's really good, and it's great to get a chance to talk about it, that you find out she used to be a wee fella called Magnus, but that wasn't what she was supposed to be, and now she's who she's supposed to be. And I know there's a lot of negativity and a lot of, we know a lot of toxicity over a very, very, very small minority of people who have a really, really tough time.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, look, we're all just the same. We're all trying to get on with our lives, and she's just Freya. She says that in the book. I'm just Freya.
Yeah.
Please don't put a label on me. Yes, I am a trans woman, but that's part of me, but it's not all of me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And also, I like the way you deal with it because, as you say, she's just a woman living in the community.
Yeah.
She's not an issue.
Not at all.
She's not.
Not at all. And it was really, I felt very strongly about just, look, we're all just trying to get on with our lives. Because any trans people I know, they're just wanting to get on with it. They want to get on with their jobs, and they've got kids, and they just want to live their lives.
Yeah.
Like we all try to do.
And tell me this, have you got readers in Orkney? Are there people on Orkney who you kind of you were giving it to say, is this okay?
I gave it to Helen, lovely Helen Doole, who I know really well, and we actually launched the book in Orkney last week. I went up there to launch it. Oh, it was lovely. It was all covered in snow. It was absolutely beautiful. It did mean we had a slight sort of problem getting off Orkney. We had to go to Aberdeen via Shetland, which was an adventure, but fine.
Yeah, I have a book event to get to.
I must get there. I got there with 5 minutes to spare. I got to St Andrews with 5 minutes to spare, but I got there on time.
So are you doing book events? I
have been doing book events. It's fantastic because it's really good because I'm not giving a talk or anything. We just have a blether, with a fellow author. Reverend Coles is doing something with me on Monday, and I love him. So that's just a chat, and then people ask you questions, and then you sign your book. They sign a book for them. It's delightful, and it's really nice to get to chat to people as well. I've had a ball all over the country, starting in Orkney and working my way all the way down.
And also it'll be nice as it goes on, you'll start talking to people who've read it.
Yes, that's the thing, because I keep saying to people, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. So it'll be really lovely to actually start. Well, will it? I hope it will.
It will. It will. Presumably you've got the bug now.
I have, Graham, and I've got unfinished business with these characters because it's not all wrapped up in a wee bow. The big issues, like the big twist, is a twist sort of halfway through and then again towards the end that I hope nobody gets. But there are, I don't want to say cheerio to them.
No. No, it was interesting you said that earlier, that you don't want to say goodbye to them. Because I always feel at the end of a book, I do want to say goodbye to them.
Do you?
I've never wanted to revisit characters. I always feel like I'm done and dusted. Thank you very much. Right. So it's interesting you don't feel like that.
I don't, because I do like some of them. I love some of them. Some of them drive me crazy because, I just think, for goodness sake, why did you do that? And then I think, well, why did you make her do that? So I have to take responsibility, to be fair. But it is incredible how you've got an idea, a beginning, middle and end, and it's not a straight Roman road. You go all over the place. You go through a roundabout, you go down a tunnel sometimes. And rookie mistake, I overwrote a lot, and then I had to edit it.
Oh, really?
But I didn't mind the editing process because I'm used to that in the job, because, you get the same as you get loads and loads of information about someone, and then you've got to distill it into a few bullet points in your head as to where you're going to go with the conversation. Yeah. So I actually rather enjoyed that whole process.
So
trying to cut it down.
So some of that stuff, the material that you cut out, you feel, I'm going to pop that in.
No.
I see. Oh, you're done.
It's gone.
Okay.
No, it's gone. It wasn't good enough, and it's gone. And the characters didn't add anything.
Yeah, but
those ones that I had to.
Because because if you're going to write another book set in Orkney, it would make sense that these characters would crop up again. You're going to bump into them.
I think they've been deleted. Sadly and tragically, they are no longer around. I've got plenty of rich characters, and I've got a wee idea for something that may or may not work. I'm working on it just now, and if it does, then it's going to be even more shocking than this one. Because although it gets very deep emotionally, it is funny. There are funny bits.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's silly funny bits because life's funny and we're all silly, and there's not. Frankly, I don't think there's enough silliness in the world. Really, we need more silliness.
And Lorraine, is there a thing where, because somehow writing a novel, you would think a memoir would be the most revealing thing to write, but actually a novel is kind of oddly more revealing.
You are so right, because there are little bits of me in there that Liv, the horror, the horrible sister that doesn't like her. That's me. There's
Lorraine,
it is.
No,
Graham, I was horrible to my brother. I was 6 years older than him, and he was so beautiful. I mean, he was the baby from. He looked like a cherub, with the blonde hair and the big blue eyes. He was gorgeous, and I loathed him. I hated him and used to nip him and steal his orange juice. And I said to my mum when he was a week old, I don't like him, can you send him back? I don't want him. So there's a little bit of that in there, and lots of wee bits. There's nobody, it's not based on anyone in particular, but it's just lots and lots of bits of people that I've interviewed and listened to. Maybe it's just all by osmosis. You know what I mean? It's all coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we look forward to book number 2. But right now, The Island Swimmer, Lorraine Kelly's debut novel, is in hardback, and it's a really great kind of. It's a sort of story you can just get lost in.
That's what I want. Thank you, Graham.
Well, I said to you, I think it wasn't on the show, but I just said it's a yarn. I love the word yarn.
Don't you? I do.
Because it's all the threads, and it's somehow this, I don't know.
It's like a jumper, a complicated jumper.
And it is you've created a proper yarn. So thank you so much. Thank you. And go have lunch.
I will.
Yes. Enjoy the city that awaits. Lorraine Kelly, lovely to see you. Always a pleasure.
Virgin Radio.